Pinky here with a toddler tip for you. Now, something we're home alone with our partners, perhaps, or other people in our family, and we've got toddlers, little ones. Once your child becomes a toddler, a walking, kind of babbling kind of little person, something that helps to create family harmony, because you and your partner have come from very different backgrounds, usually. You usually have different backgrounds, different sorts of values, different kinds of upbringing, different people that you've been exposed to with children. Some of you might have younger siblings, some of you might not, some might have nieces and nephews, some of you might have grown up without, any younger children in the family, or you might be an only child yourself. You might not have had exposure to a lot of small children, and you have expectations around what your toddler's going to do, how he will behave, and how you'll sort him out if he doesn't. And I think creating an environment of family harmony is pretty important, because we want that good energy. We don't want to be fighting with our partners about how we guide our children, and we can guide them gently. You've been nurturing and gentle with them as babies, and you can continue that. And one thing I advise parents to do, and I've got information all about it in my book called Toddler Tactics. This is my book, and I've got information how to do this, as well as suggestions for how you can guide your children gently, is to sit down with your partner and talk about your parenting toolbox. What's in, what's out. And one way to stop any arguments is to give yourselves a score. One partner might say, look, it's really important for me that the child does X, Y, or Z. And you might say, look, that doesn't actually bother me whether he does this or he doesn't. Or one might say, I was brought up with smacks and I really don't know what to do. My toolbox is empty. So this is where my book comes in, so you can find other ideas. But, my husband and I would talk about something and we'd go, I'd say, actually, that's a 9 or 10 for me, which would mean he had to take me seriously. Or he might say, no, that really matters to me. And I'd go, look, it's only a 1 or 2 for me. So, okay, explain to me why it's so high on your score. And we would talk about it and work it out. And I think that's a really great way to, come up with your parenting toolbox. It's handier if you can do it when the kids are in bed or they're playing outside or something like that, and it might take a few sittings. What's in and what's out? I think the biggest things are smacking and shouting that you're going to decide that you don't want in, and there's lots of evidence. And I go over that again in my book around why smacking isn't helpful. And for me, assault's assault, whatever the age or the relationship of that person to you. You can't hit your wife, you can't hit your neighbour if you don't like what they're doing. So I think it's pretty mean to hit a small child. But again, that's something you have to talk through with your family member and the people around you. And it's about respect, and it's about respect of each other, and create that parenting toolbox and go through it. And I've examined, different things that you might want to go through in your parenting toolbox, and the pros and cons, and why a lot of these things that we were brought up with, might not be helpful anymore. When we know better, we do better. And I think it's really good to educate ourselves as parents. So, Toddler Tactics, okay? And you can get it on my website, and it's also available on audible.com too.